For me, self love, it's self acceptance. Self acceptance will never come without self understanding, and self understanding will never show up in your life without self knowledge. So I think that's a process of self discovery, first of all, and of course, appreciating and understanding how special you are, embracing all your shades, advantages and disadvantages, strengths and weaknesses, and know how to deal with that.
Hi, Iryna. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Mark, how are you?
Good. Thank you for being here at Peak Performance Perspective, where we help entrepreneurs master health, wealth, and relationships. Now, as a relationship expert, entrepreneur, founder of the Gemini Near Me, a self love and relationship intelligence app, what does peak performance mean to you?
First of all, thank you for inviting. It's an honor being here. For me, peak performance probably it's embracing your uniqueness, which people probably don't realize very often. It's understanding your value, how special you are and different from the other people, accepting yourself and understanding yourself, which is not easy.
We all believe that we are unique. That's the driving force, but accepting ourselves the way we are, it's where most people have challenges. What is the reason for that, in your opinion?
First of all, it's never enough that all these social media trends are shown to us. The second thing, people don't know themselves very well. People are driving through life via the expectations of their parents, maybe friends and family advices, and societal norms. So it looks like it's easy and we believe in our uniqueness, but I work with people for more than 12 years, and my journey started from astrology and numerology, and after ended up in psychological field. And I have to tell you, people don't, they reject their uniqueness. They try or to be like everybody. Maybe nowadays it started to be trend and everybody wants to be different, but for many years people didn't want to be because they're scared to be different. It's a lot of responsibility.
Self love is often very misunderstood because people confuse that with being self absorbed. How do you define self love?
For me, self love, it's self acceptance. Self acceptance will never come without self understanding, and self understanding will never show up in your life without self knowledge. So I think that's a process of self discovery, first of all, and of course, appreciating and understanding how special you are, embracing all your shades, advantages and disadvantages, strengths and weaknesses, and know how to deal with that.
How did your own journey with self love and relationship shape this version of you?
Started from the opposite, like in math sometimes you can get some mathematical results with the opposition. So I had a very bad destructive marriage full of emotional abuse, and I understand, I learned my lesson, and I came from a lot of love between my parents. So I have no idea how I got there, but I did it, and I realized what kind of relationships you don't have to have with your prospective date or potential partner. And it was not easy. I got divorced and I went into the therapy for 3 years. So my lesson was learned in a tough way. And after I ended up being getting my master's degree in psychology after years, because I realized that this tool helped me a lot. So I wanted to show to people how powerful it could be if you work on yourself and if you do your self evaluation and you reflect on your feelings.
Looking back at your own life, I'm sure you would have wanted to do something different in your life so you didn't end up in therapy 3 years later. What advice would you have given yourself back then if this was the version of Irina advising that older version?
Absolutely. Yes, I would say focus on yourself, not to be well-centered or narcissistic, as people now misunderstanding what self-love is. Self-love is self-care and self-love is self-value. It's more about appreciating yourself, respecting yourself, and not agreeing to things that with your physical body, who is our best friend, and your gut feeling, you feel it's not for you, but for some reason, because of shame, because of guilt, because of something else, which is destructive emotion, I agreed on things being in a bad marriage. Maybe because I promised to get married, and sometimes we follow our promises, but we are not following our calling and our intuition. So I would say always listen to your heart and always be yourself and never agree to things that you already know wouldn't make you happy.
This is a concept that is just one of those things that is so easy to talk about, but very difficult to look into your own life and say, okay, this is the boundary. So, for those listening, can you just give one example of something that you were doing at the time that now when you look back and say, yeah, I shouldn't have done that. I should have practiced self love and self value?
I learned how to say no. And to people whom I love and to people who are my friends or clients, because it was very easy to manipulate me. It was very easy with me to play victim. So I felt very sorry for everybody. And now I'm not captivated and intrigued by victimizing, not in my own face, not in somebody else's. And I agreed on many things to put my own wishes aside or things that I had to do. And I was running to help my friends or to save my ex-boyfriends. There were not too many, but still they had addictions. Like my first husband, he has an alcoholic abuse that actually influence the quality of our life as well. And I realized that you can't save nobody. People have to learn their lesson. People have to go through their own karma. So I learned how to say no, how to stop myself, not them, stop myself. So I started to receive less offers that put me in inconvenient position in life.
So if I'm listening to this and I'm wondering, am I sacrificing myself too much for the relationship? What is a litmus test? What are some questions you would want my audience to think about so that they can navigate through this answer?
Mark, I don't believe in sacrifice in life. In love, sorry. In life, I believe. Because let's say you have a little baby, you have to sacrifice your night sleep. Or you have a startup, you have to sacrifice maybe playing golf or tennis sometimes. But you're doing that, it's a limited thing. Or if your beloved one got sick and you need to sacrifice going out and travel in the world because now it's need because that's your main task to help your chosen one to recover. But if we are talking about normal relationship that are not going through trial and things that people are manipulating, what sacrifice could be? If you appreciate your partner, if you appreciate yourself, where is the sacrifice is taking place? Why do you need to sacrifice?
But don't relationships come with a certain responsibility, even with spouses? And sometimes we get caught up in the responsibility and perhaps we give a little too much. So, how do we draw that line?
I give you an example. My husband is absolutely addicted to our puppies. He's a big animal person. I am as well, but I'm less. I think I deal with people very well, and he deals with animals very well, with pets. So now I suppose to go and be a good mother. Okay, but I'm sitting here and doing podcast with you, and he doesn't make me sacrifice because absolutely love broadcasting, absolutely love what I'm doing, my mission, my calling, my counseling, my career, our Gemini and EME app that we launched together. And he doesn't make me sacrifice playing a good mother because tomorrow I will take care of his real mother and bring her to hospitals and he will do his own business. So I think here everybody is healthy, okay? Sacrifice is not needed. So I think that's respecting. He respects that I'm busy here with you and he told me no problem, just do your thing, I'll take care of puppies. And tomorrow I give him the day to do what he wants and I take care of his mother as my own mother. So it's not sacrificing, it's just understanding what is your priority to today, what's your schedule, how do we delegate, how we manage it, because we are a team, because we are partners, because we are family.
What would you say is a predictor to a long term relationship success?
Be yourself. Yes, my husband told me he's Gemini. For those who know what are Gemini, they're absolutely gifted, talented, and great communicators, and very open mind and friendly and easygoing. But like I'm Pisces, it's a double sign, and he's Gemini, it's double sign. And at the beginning, he was after divorce. He was separated for 5 years, and but still traumatized by divorce, probably. And he had some kind of leftovers of his feelings and reflections. And I understood him very well. And he said, because of your understanding, because of your respect to my thoughts, to my ideas, to my feelings, actually, that's why I appear to be very different for him than any other girl. And I think that what you have to be respectful to your own state of mind and your heart issues and to your beloved ones. So he showed me all his bad sides, but I understood them very well because I realized as a psychologist and counselor, I realized that it's leftovers of his trauma. If I heal him with love, if I introduce him to another quality of relationship, not convincing him, not trying to be good and after, but just genuine, honest care and connection. And I help him to talk out his emotions. I introduce him to very open love when you care about each other's feelings. And he said, "Oh my God, that was the best life decision I ever made, that I married you, because it's pure, honest, filled." And if I'm in a bad mood, he sees this in a second because he knows me very well. So I can't hide it. That's to be an open book, which is difficult because we try to be somebody else. We try to stand on tiptoes, and it's very difficult to stand for a long time.
What about people who don't have a good view of themselves, perhaps because of childhood trauma or previous relationships? And they know they need to love themselves, they know need to appreciate themselves, and they can never figure out a way to do that. What kind of tips would you give them?
Start to work on yourself, whether you do it with a counselor, or at least if, for example, you don't have time, you can do it on your own, or again, you can do it without self-help and self-love. Gemini near me, because I created a lot of daily prompts to help out people who don't know how to work on themselves, how to do the self-evaluation. I understand not everybody has time, energy, and money in a nowadays streaming world to do a lot of daily exercises, or to wait in line for 2 months when it's urgency to get a real good psychologist, or to pay 150 because it's an expensive service to get, and for couples it's 400 nowadays if you get a good specialist. So if you're doing it on your own without anybody, with a sheet of paper, at least start to reflect on your emotions. No matter what happened to you, start to write down things. Okay, today I got, but be honest with yourself. Nobody is reading. If you want to curse, okay? Today I was pissed off because my mother was calling me in the middle of my meeting. And I don't know, I was so annoyed. She doesn't care, doesn't respect my schedule. She thinks I'm a baby. Whatever. It could be different type of situation. Or my friends feel like I own them something. Or my wife is never satisfied, never pleased, never enough. So write down everything, and write down not actually what happened, but what you felt. Was it guilt? Was it shame? Was it sadness? Was it gloom? Was it disappointment? What was it? Recognize your emotions, and after underline, and you will see, Mark, or people who are listening to us, you will see that most of the time you experience the same emotion. And unfortunately, most of the time you're reacting in the same way. That's where you come to inner child trauma, because somewhere else, maybe being 5 or 6, you learned how to react on gloom, how to react on sadness, how to react on disappointment. And whether you freeze, or whether you run away, or whether you just observe it without participation and eat it, and you will see, no matter what happened in your love or career life or with your friends, you react the same way to the same type, not circumstances, but feelings.
What was the turning point in your life and career that inspired you to create the Gemini Near Me app?
Loss of my father, and fighting prayer for 8 years for his life, because I've seen a lot of ups and downs, and it ended up with a tragic death. And it wasn't easy for me, and it wasn't easy for him. And I learned my lesson. You guys can't save anybody else's life, but I got a lot of spiritual knowledge. I've been traveling to India, to Sri Lanka, to Singapore, to Bali, to Portugal, to Tenerife, to a lot of places with my mentors, to spiritual awakening retreats. And of course, I've learned a lot of different points of view, how to look at life and circumstances, because we don't like everything what the universe is offering us sometimes, but it does so for a reason. So I learned my lesson, almost embraced it. I'm still a human. Nobody is saint here. How to react, not indifferently, but how to understand, okay, not why it happened, what for it happened. That should be your number one question. You still have an emotion. But second thing, okay, it happened for a reason. I don't know what's the answer right now, but I will understand it later. And second, to reflect on your emotions. So that's why our app, this self-help and self-love app, it's about your connection. It's one-stop shop for all self-discovery tools, with a revolutionary feature, Iryna AI, your 24/7 pocket counselor. We have 10 features, different features for self-discovery: manifesting, journaling with daily prompts, affirmations, meditations, astrology, numerology, compatibility charts for those who want to check on their connections, self-love relationship cards, quotes of the day to inspire you, keep you on track, and others. And Iryna AI, it's your 24/7 pocket counselor for emotional awareness and relationship intelligence, because this is the one, whether you have tough time to fall asleep because you had a fight with your boyfriend or girlfriend, or you had a midday tough conversation with your mother, you can always open it up and understand what triggers you, because that's what Iryna AI is programmed by me, to recognize your triggers and to heal them.
How can two people with two different love languages connect on a deep level using this app?
They have to work on themselves. We have two categories, self-love and smart together. So it is built up for individual usage. It's for one person. But let's say if you're the one who decided to navigate the relationships and you're more into spiritual awakening growth and you want to bring it to your love life, you have a category smart together, where we have everything, daily prompts for two to strengthen your bond and genuine connection, meditations for two, whatever. It could be a prayer for a baby, it could be a prayer to settle your conflict after the fight, or conflict resolution, or how we have as well, which I missed, relationship intelligence pre-recorded classes. So you don't need to jump out on YouTube, another platform, because all main questions are covered already. How to raise up difficult conversations, or what is your karmic partner, which is very possible as well, because karmic partners, they're here to help us learn something more about themselves. So this category, Smart Together, helps you a lot with, again, all in one place, different tools for self-discovery, because I created uncomfortable questions for both sides, when you can understand more things about yourself, dive into yourself, and after you can speak it up. I call it the evaluation of your relationship, because since you're honest and you speak not with your partner, let's say your partner is shouting on you and screaming, and you say, not shut your mouth, but you can say, my darling, I have to explain myself. Always speak from I statement point of view. Speak about your feelings, because this is the only one thing that can't be judged. You know how you can judge somebody else's feeling? If somebody feels sorrow or sadness, it is as it is. So when you say, I feel scared because when I was 5, I had an alcoholic father who did emotional abuse to my mother. So every time I hear screaming or high voices or even loud television, I feel insecure, I feel unsafe. Would you be so kind to understand me and help me to go through it, and just coordinate your voice next time, because I understand much better. I'm ready to work on our relationship when you speak about it, but not shout. I think if you would be honest like that, in a very polite way, speaking about yourself but not judging the other person, your beloved one will hear you out.
We all have a physical hygiene routine where we wake up, we brush our teeth, we take a shower, right? And if we skip that over days, we're not hygienic anymore. So it's the same for our soul. So, what does your personal daily routine for emotional hygiene looks like?
That's a great question. I like the comparison. People don't think about that very well. I would say when I wake up, first thing I do, I say, thank God. Thank God I have my body, whole complete body, because I realize how many people are victims of war and they don't have everything. Thank you for the roof. Thank you for the home. Thank you, first of all, for my one parent alive, for my dear husband who is laying next to me. Thank you for puppies. I think about everything. It takes 1 minute. I thank for that I woke up. And second, I always light a candle because I like the energy shift and cleanse at home. While I'm making the breakfast, I put intention in the food to be a good day, to be a good blessed of good things. And I play with my puppies. Not everybody has this, but I go to pray to Buddha. I know I'm Christian, I don't mix it up with religion, but for me, meditation, it's a separate process apart from your prayer. And to put my unconscious and conscious in balance. That's what is the purpose of the meditation. So I do my meditation and I do my prayer. That's my energy cleanse at home. And during the day, if needed, I always reflect with the journaling on my feelings, because I always work on myself, even through my clients, because I meet different situations and every client brings you your own experience. You understand from every single person and life circumstances, you can pick up another puzzle of yourself.
What is your go-to practice when you are feeling disconnected from yourself? Days are hard, these practice, the morning rituals are not coming naturally. How do you get back into the rhythm?
I don't do sports at these days. I have these tough days, which sometimes I have days with lack of sleep, nights with lack of sleep. And I know I stopped to fight with insomnia because I realized it's probably angels are trying to tell me something. So I have it for a reason, for another maybe energy evaluation, because now it's era of Aquarius and it's a huge energy shift on the planet and people finally waking up. And these days, I put everything aside. I'm not ashamed to say no to people, even with those, because it's very rare thing that I don't keep my promises. I call and let people know upfront that today I can't show up on podcasts or do a meeting or something. And I take a day off and I just lay down, maybe still meditate, but in a different like laying position in more relaxed position. I light a candle because I have special sacred candles for that. When I ask for things like justice, like coordination, guidance, I say, I feel like burnout. I feel like I have no power, no energy. It happened for a reason. So I need to recharge. Maybe I'm going in the wrong direction. So I actually ask for guidance, the universe, and I do physically, I do nothing. I exclude everything from my schedule because it never happens to me. I'm the battery, like I'm always doing something. I'm emptying myself. If needed, I do the cleanse of home or wardrobe just to get rid of energy that doesn't serve me anymore. And I can do reading as well because it switches my mind.
Having worked with so many high achievers, entrepreneurs now in the tech space, what emotional patterns do you notice with high achievers?
They're non-stoppers. They have heart attacks and strokes. They have never enough problem. They don't enjoy the moment. They don't know how to appreciate themselves because they feel like they're on mission. And in reality, like Steve Jobs, it was big life changer. Okay. I've been to three big festival seminars of Tony Robbins, twice Meet Your Destiny and once UPVW in London. And I have to tell you, last time I've seen him, it was before COVID. His hands were shaking and he couldn't show up on the stage. And this guy saved a lot of lives. He's good with dealing with suicides because I've seen it in front of my eyes. He's great. People can like him, dislike him. I've been to his festivals. I know what he is at the right time of my life. And I have to tell you, burnout is your big friend and enemy because that's your way to rethink the life. And I think that COVID kind of stopped him and stopped all of us to reflect on our true selves. So I think these people know how to deal with others, what we feel see in common, but even fighting for other people's life, they not always know how to deal with themselves. Because if you look into their biographies, they are full of trauma, not always great relationship or physical body problems. And when you have issues with your body, it means your body, as your best friend, is shouting you about the pain in your soul, in your wounds.
What do you mean when you say physical body problems? Can you explain that?
Yeah, there is psychosomatic. Louisa Hay investigated it very well that your psychology is very well connected with your physical body. And if you have back pain, it's probably you carry a lot of responsibility. Or if you have inconvenience in your shoulders, maybe you put way too much pressure on you. Or when you have constant headaches that all goal-getters and achievers have, maybe you're overthinking the life. When you have liver problem, maybe you have a lot of offenses or keep grudges. So every organ is related to your feelings or emotions. And when people are trying to fix it with the tablets, they don't think that probably they have to deep dive into themselves and think about how their soul is suffering, that their body has to scream.
A lot of people who are high achievers, they will tell you, I'm too busy to take a break. Sometimes they
Mm.
want to take a break, but they convince themselves that they're so busy that there isn't an option. What advice would you give them if they're listening to this?
No, I would ask them, busy with what? And
Busy with business, busy with responsibilities.
okay, so yes, you say responsibilities for what? Why did you decide to have so many responsibilities? To make more money or to take care of your family? If you die, do you think you will have your family will be happy or your business will thrive if you die? No. What's the point? What's your value?
So is it getting deeper into the why, the value? That's the key.
Yes, I would ask what's your value? What is the value of your life? So if you are already broken, not physically, maybe you're a billionaire. I knew one billionaire. Unbelievable. I've seen on these seminars a lot of successful people. One billionaire was scared to sleep because he's seen some phantoms and another. The other billionaire was so much overweight they couldn't actually even go to the restaurant because whole thing he was doing, he was laying in bed and eating. That was his self-protection from the society and compensation. So I have a question. Why do you need $1 billion? For what? To lay in bed? You can do that without $1 billion. Or, why maybe I think that we have to ask why we need it. Why do we need responsibility? Yes, that's the exercise.
Exercise. Love it. How does one deal with doubt or imposter syndrome? Because that is something that affects entrepreneurs a lot as well. Especially as a founder in an emotional wellness space and entrepreneur yourself, how do you deal with it? How do you help your clients deal with it?
Two types of doubts. First of all, doubt number one, it's when you doubt, answer is no. Because you're a married guy, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So when you met your wife, did you know that it's her?
After a while, yeah.
Yeah, that's my woman. Okay.
Yep.
Or when you see this red t-shirt and you know that's your side, that's what you've been looking for, you say, that's my, you don't care. You maybe even don't care about the price. I'm not even sure if you care if they care the size. You just get out into the shop. I want this t-shirt. I want this woman. I want this. So when you doubt, when you're overusing your brain, it's probably already pros and cons, yes and no's. Let's ask my friend. Let's call my lawyer and about that. Okay, but there is another thing that happened to me. I was doubting in my life a lot. Of course, I can put it on astrology because my past life previous task was to be Libra, which means partnership oriented, considering the opinion of the other people, but not everybody is into astrology. So I was dealing with my doubt. I think, listen, me look like I'm confident, look like I know what I'm doing, but why I'm doubting, let's say, what kind of polish do I do today? I listen, when I was younger, do I need to call my mother or ask my friends or Google what is trendy? No, I have to feel, I have to use my intuition, what I'm in the mood for today. That's what matters, not the trend, not the mother. That's what you have block with this intuition. You feel disconnected. In my case, my parents, who were very caring and beloved parents, they were very young. We have 18 years apart. And maybe people have it because doubt as well as trauma comes from your childhood. Trauma can be hidden trauma and repressed trauma. Not everything is your father was beating you or your mother was an alcoholic, so you got a trauma. Trauma could be a good trauma. That's what happened to me. My parents were playing game with me. Whom do you love more, father or mother? Because they were 18 years old parents. So I was like, mommy or daddy, or mommy or daddy. Mark, I ended up sitting in the restaurant being 27 years old, young woman with my boyfriend. And he asked me, darling, what would you like to have tonight? Fish or meat? Fish or meat? Fish or meat? Where does it come from? From my childhood. Because I can't feel my body what I want tonight. Are you kidding me? Thank God I wasn't a psychologist by that time. I was just astrologist, numerologist, so I can put it on that. So I started to deal with myself because it was like hard to deal with Iryna. I didn't like myself by that time. Now I know everything. I know even if I may, and people who don't know how to make decision, they're scared of the wrong decision. That's why they're scared to make it. But what is right, what is wrong? Believe me, make wrong decisions. Why? Lose and make it again because this is the way to learn. When you did something good, you think, "Oh, okay, I did something good, but you have no idea why it brought you luck. But when you made something wrong, you know what was your mistake. And then you never do it again. So I think it's good to make mistakes because they bring you to success if you're wise enough to use them.
How has your understanding of love and relationships evolved over the years?
I think that real love, first of all, it's mutual. Second, it's never ending. Third, it can go through challenges, but it makes you even closer. And you don't have to be scared of any kind of conflicts because conflicts introduce two partners to each other. In a conflict situation, you can hear real opinion of your partner on this or that situation and hear them out finally, when it's all smooth and nice. How do you know? Yeah, but when you have a conflict, it's like a little war and it's great because you get closer, because you become more receptive to each other habits, schedules, personalities, because you have less surprises, bad surprises, because you start to respect each other shades, and you are fall in love not with the first impression of something you drew, something you, but something that you really know. So where real love starts when you know the person. When it's not charming, Prince Charmant, who I think, okay, he's young, beautiful, healthy, and wealthy, and that's it. That's my. But when you understand, okay, yeah, my husband can scream. Oh, he could be tough, right? He could be like difficult to deal with, and oh, you never know. It's a roulette. You think, oh, he's so hot, unbelievable, decisive, and I like him like that. A little bit aggressive. That's cool. He will stand for our family. So when you see people as they are, that's real love. All the rest is illusion.
What has been the biggest lesson as an entrepreneur building a product rooted in healing?
That you have no idea what people need. You think you do, Mark. I think, okay, I traveled the world. You kidding me? I don't know what I didn't do. I did 10 times. I did 3 times Tony Robbins. I was standing on nails crying. I heard so many stories. People were raped, were abused. I work with clients like that. Kids with disabilities, kids with physical, emotional abuse in the childhood. I don't know, with pastor aggression. I worked with everything. I've seen everything and look like I came from there. I know. You think you know, but you don't. And
Mm.
when you have to start think being an entrepreneur, not from your own point of view that you're a dictator and you will like, yes, it's great to create a trend and everybody wants it because all big people who made it, they did something unknown. But we have to listen to the pains of our customer for a user because I would think astrology helped me or meditation helped me and probably it will help Mark, but maybe not. Maybe Mark wants a quiet journaling. He doesn't care about numerology with numbers and I don't know, inner child healing. Maybe he wants to talk to himself, not to somebody else with Iryna AI. As much as I love this product because I think it's unbelievable, not because it's mine. So I think that this is the best a big mistake because we think we know what people need. We have to start to understand what are pains and goals and values of our user and customer, start to speak their language, refer to their problems, and give them solution.
So, how do you go about maintaining the alignment between the brand you're building versus the personal values you have?
They're the same. That's why I said that I actually changed the positioning of the app. It was initially as you presented it, and you did it absolutely correctly because it's a new thing that I'm saying nowadays. It's self love and relationship, and I explain myself. I do believe that genuine, honest, true relationship, healthy relationships with the other people are not existing without honest relationships with yourself, and it demands self love. So that was my concept, self-love and relationship intelligence. Now I changed the concept of the app to position it in different way, like self-help and self-love. It's one-stop shop for all self-discovery tools with Iryna AI. Why like that? Because I explained people better what it is. So my personal value is fall in love with yourself first and fulfill yourself with the energy you are ready to give to your husband, to your family, because I did it for years. I've been counseling people out of trauma and compensation, trying to save my father. And I thought, oh, now I will help all the world, I'll save the world. I'm not Jesus. I realized it that I'm doing a huge mistake. I took a break, and when I was fulfilled and energetic, I changed that victim program into real solution, into power, into healing, into purity, and into light, I would say. So now the concept of the app self-help and self-love. Help yourself, and they say in United States, and fall in love with yourself. And here we are. You'll help the world being that guy, like powerful and happy and free. What about everybody wants to be the best version of yourself? What about to be happy and free version of yourself? That's what this app is about. And that's why I think that my value about being yourself and the app value, be yourself, this is absolutely the same.
If you had the attention of the world for 1 minute, what message would you like to share about self love or love in relationships?
Be passionate and curious about yourself. You're the only person who spent all life with yourself. All the rest is events, circumstances, karma, and whatever you want to interact into your life. But you're the one. Concentrate on yourself.
What's one question people should ask themselves before getting into a relationship?
What I'm doing here on the earth. And it's strange because you would tell me how your calling is connected to your relationship. It's a direct connection. Because if you're doing your thing on the planet, all doors are opening, including love as a benefit, as a gift.
We opened the podcast with you telling a story about your past abusive relationship and how that put you to therapy. And I asked you, what would you advise yourself if you were back then? But let me ask you a different question now. If a younger version of you could see you right now, what would she be the most proud of?
Unpredictable. Proud of. I thought what I have to advise myself being young because I wish I returned my unpredictiveness. I was such a last minute person and God loved me. I had everything luck, money, I don't know. Everything was organized. So it's look like I step in and universe is taking care of me. Now I don't have it. I'm a mind user because I have business, I have family, I have to be responsible. And I hate it about myself because I wish I were that girl. So, what was the question? What I would
If your younger version could
admire?
see you right now, what would be she the most proud of?
How organized I am. I still like I was a cow's girl with a lot of kindness and empathy in her heart. Now I'm a very empathic but very well organized woman who's managing a lot of things. I'm always laughing about myself that I'm the most career oriented housewife or the most family oriented businesswoman. I roll a lot of balls during the day. Like I do the my personal PR and I'm a publicist for the app. I take care of broadcasting and podcasting, and I'm thinking about opening up my own podcast besides being co-host. I accomplished 5 books so far. I need a little pause before my next book. And I still do counseling in person and one-on-one consultation with singles and couples and like technological product and speaking panels and a lot of doing. And plus I ended up being an influencer, which is total surprise to me because I didn't do nothing. Like clients started to reach me out. Now brands started to reach me out to do promotions for them. So it looks like universe thinks I'm bored, which I'm not. And I think why do we have just 24 hours a day? But it is as it is. Yeah, I would say that I'm super responsible and super organized woman. And I like it about myself.
But how do you do that? Because, like you mentioned, there's so many balls in there. There's so many women entrepreneurs, especially who are running families. Some are moms, some are taking care of families, and they feel overwhelmed. And part of the reason is they burn out. So, how do you manage all these things?
With humor. And
I know
you
you
know
do
what?
it.
Listen, my father always told me that he said you have to do this about home. Now you have to do homework, and now you have to sweep the floor, and now you have to help your mother, and after you have to go and help you to cook the dinner. And I said, Dad, like, where's the limit? He said, first of all, you're a woman. Second, your relaxation is changing activity. So that's my relaxation, Mark. I have to tell you, I learned my lesson since my childhood. My relaxation is changing activities. I have no idea. That's why sometimes I have my days off completely because I need it, because I absolutely love my secret. I fulfilled myself with everybody and everything I love. You tell me, Iryna, are you ready to get rid of your husband? Never. Are you ready to get rid of your puppies? That is was like, what? 2 puppies? I wanted small and he wanted big, so we ended up having big ones. I said, really? We don't have kids yet. I said, home, you still run errands around the home. Mother-in-law, that is another responsibility that we have. She's older woman and we have to do my own business. that I have counseling. Gemini and EME, writing books, speaking panels, conferences, podcasts, and podcasts that I do, and influencing platforms. So I just feel I can't get rid of anything because I love everything. I have huge attachment to everything. So I just manage. I do, okay, 1 hour this, 1 hour that. And I have a lot of, if I could show you my walls, I write it down in front of my eyes and I feel so much accomplishment. Good girl, you did this. I play with myself because I know that it's a psychological trick done, but I play with myself what I'm going to do.
What is the biggest lesson you are still learning in love?
In love? Such a good question. I'm stuck for a second because I don't know. I think I'm learning still how to love myself because a couple of things that I'm fighting for, my hair never grows enough. And I think, ah, and I think it's why? Like, I probably my speed, my unbelievable speed in life. I'm so speedy. And in relationship, I'm not speedy. I know I'm smooth in relationship, but I think it's more about I didn't figure out 100% my love to myself. Because my husband tells me that, I don't know, he's praising me like I would never praise myself. He calls me queen, love of my life. What? And he asked me that 15, 20 times a day already. I said, something happened? He said, no. I said, no. It's just, yeah, I think it's more about love to myself because a couple of things I'm fighting with. But in love, I don't know. I have no idea when you're, no, I know the answer. When you're so much, when you have this happy love, one day I have a fear of loss because of my father. I don't want to think about loss because that's what I don't know how to deal with. And I wish it took me a very long way to understand what it is because it looks like we are happy together. So this is the only God's decision when we get separated. But all the rest, yeah, because my mother is dealing with the loss now and with her second husband, and I see people who deal with that not easy. When you're happy, it's worse when you're unhappy because you can remember something bad about your partner, but when you remember only good things, which we have, I don't know if it's a good answer or not, but it is as it is. I was at least you made me stuck and thinking.
It's a great answer. Great answer. Share with the audience where can they find you? How can they connect with you? Where can they find the app?
Thank you, Mark. So me, you can always get in touch with me through the Instagram at IRYNAWOOD, Iryna Wood. The same name all over the place. LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and my website, or better, I probably would give the website of the app, www.gemininiame.com, or it's available for Android and Apple users with 7 days free trial. So whatever, which platform you use, you can try it out and check it out if it's for you.
Irina, thank you for being on the show. Thank you for being so open, honest, vulnerable, and providing such great value. I hope to talk to you soon again.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you very much. See you.